Carlos Ulberg takes on Jiri Prochazka at UFC 327, and today we will be taking a look at the Kiwi's UFC career so far, which got him to this point. Carlos Ulberg first burst onto the scene when he took on Bruno Oliveira at the Dana White's Contender Series. This matchup ended in 2 minutes 2 seconds of the very first round as Bruno Oliveira threw a very lazy jab. Carlos Ulberg countered with a left hook, a left hand, and a right hand, which knocked Bruno Oliveira out cold and won Carlos Ulberg his contract into the UFC. Carlos Ulberg showed his great kickboxing in this match. As we all know, Carlos Ulberg is from the Great City Kickboxing Gym, which has the likes of Israel Adesanya, Dan Hooker, and Kai Kara France. And this was a great entry for him into the UFC. Now, in his UFC debut, he took on Kennedy Nzechukwu, and he lost this match via KO TKO in round 2. Now, I know the narrative around this match is Carlos Ulberg was actually winning this whole fight until he got caught. This was not the case. This was a very closely contested match, and Carlos Ulberg was mostly winning the exchanges because he was landing some really good punches to the body. But Kennedy Nzechukwu weathered the storm, and as Carlos Ulberg started to get tired, he pressured Ulberg against the cage, landed a big right hand straight to the chin, and knocked him out cold. This was also the first professional loss of Carlos Ulberg's career. In his next fight, Carlos Ulberg took on Fabio Charant. Now, this was a very patient performance by Ulberg. He was moving around a lot on the outside. Very low volume, I would say. Carlos Ulberg landed 66 of 112 significant strikes. Fabio Charant just threw 41 significant strikes through 3 rounds. That's abysmal. Fabio Charant is a schmuck too. He has some pretty bad losses on his record, but Carlos Ulberg showed good patience. As we all know, in light heavyweight, even a carelessness can get you caught and knocked out. It's not that Kennedy Nzechukwu is a world beater himself, and Carlos Ulberg did show a good wrinkle to his game here as he took on Fabio Charant twice, got 1 minute 15 seconds of control time, and that is good because was mostly known as a kickboxer, and showing everyone that wrinkle to his game was a good sign. In his next match, he took on Tafon Nchukwi, and this matchup ended in 1 minute 15 seconds of the first round. As they were both moving around, Tafon Nchukwi tried to close the distance, and Carlos Ulberg landed a good 1-2 straight to the chin of Tafon Nchukwi and knocked him out cold. This was a great win by Ulberg, and he showed good knockout power here. As he had lost his debut, had gone to a boring decision in his second match, and this was good. Getting this knockout was good for him moving forward. In his next matchup, he took on Nicolae Negumereanu, who he also knocked out in 3 minutes 54 seconds of the very first round. As Nicolae Negumereanu was trying to move in, Carlos Ulberg landed a great left hook on him and knocked him out badly. As we will see moving forward, the left hook is a great weapon in Carlos Ulberg's arsenal. He lands it pretty consistently as the opponents are trying to close the distance, and I think this will be a great weapon for him moving forward in his career. In his next matchup, he took on Ihor Potieria. He again knocked Ihor Potieria out in the first round, 2 minutes 9 seconds, with a left hook to the chin. Another great performance by Carlos Ulberg. That's 2 first round KOs back to back. Good for him. In his next matchup, Carlos Ulberg took on Dao Woon-jung. In the first round, he knocked down Dao Woon-jung. In the second round, Dao Woon-jung was fighting back. They were both trading back and forth. In the third round, however, Carlos Ulberg started getting a little tired, and Dao Woon-jung started putting the pressure on him, started going for takedowns. As you can see, Dao Woon-jung got a takedown in the second round, though he didn't get much control time. He had Carlos Ulberg very shaky, but finally Carlos Ulberg did reverse the position on him, got a takedown of his own, and choked him out. Now, this was a very weird ending. The Herb Dean actually called off the match, but they saw in the replay that Dao Woon-jung had indeed tapped, and they called off the match. Now, Dao Woon-jung is a bum. He had a draw against Sam Alvey during Sam Alvey's historic 9-fight losing streak. He also has a loss to Devin Clark on his record. And if Carlos Ulberg is getting pressured and kind of like how do I put it? Is getting put under pressure by Dawoon Jung. That's not a good sign, in my opinion. We'll see how the match against Yuri goes, who is a really great pressure fighter and really intimidates his opponents with his pressure. In his next matchup, Carlos took on Alonso Menifield. This matchup ended in just 12 seconds. Alonso Menifield is just really low IQ. He rushed into Carlos Ulberg against a good power puncher, and he just got caught with a left hook right hand and knocked out cold. Not much to say here, but it's really good win for Carlos Ulberg. Another first round KO, came out with no damage. That's always a good thing for a fighter, to leave the octagon with zero shots taken to the head. In his next matchup, he took on Volkan Uzdemir. Now, this was, I think, one of the best performances of his career so far. Volkan Uzdemir, in my books, is a very capable light heavyweight fighter, and Carlos Solberg had a really great back and forth match with him. Stuffed a few takedowns. As you can see, Volkan landed 96 of 183 significant strikes. Carlos Solberg landed 98 of 204 significant strikes. But I feel that despite what the strikes show, Carlos Solberg was definitely the most active fighter. He was peppering Ozdemir with better shots as he was trying to pressure him, and that eventually got him the victory. This was a good quality win in Carlos Solberg's career so far. Most of the fighters he had fought till this point in his career had been absolute bums, but this was great. In his next fight, Carlos Solberg took on former light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz. This was a very closely contested matchup as well. None of these guys really did too much, but I think when they did come together for the brief moments that they did, Carlos Solberg was getting the better of the exchanges. He also had a little bit of visible damage on Jan Blachowicz. I think he was bleeding from the side of his eye, and that eventually won Ulberg the match. They also having some good leg kicks. He landed some good leg kicks, though Jan Blachowicz is a master at checking them. Jan Blachowicz too landed well on him, but Ulberg came out with the victory. And in his very last matchup, Carlos Ulberg took on the dominator Dominic Reyes, and this matchup ended at 4 minutes 27 seconds of the very first round. As they were both moving around in the octagon, Carlos Solberg was the one pressuring, and eventually he caught Dominic Reyes with a 1-2 on the chin and knocked him out cold. This is the fight that secured Carlos Solberg the shot to the title. And let me know what you guys think. Do you think Carlos Solberg has what it takes to beat Jiri Prochazka? I would love to know what you all think. Can't wait for the fight tomorrow. Let's go. Peace.